afternoon, everyone. It's Carol here at Oak House Journals. Thank you so much for joining me. This feels a bit like a momentous day for me, really, because it's the first time ever that I have completed a challenge like this. And as you can see, I've got my Margarete Miller Collage Weekly Planner book in front of me, and it's taken me all year to remember which way round Collage Weekly Planner went. I think I started off a good half of the year saying Weekly Planner Collage and vice versa, but I finally got it now that it's got to the end of the year. But it's momentous because I've never done a challenge like this. I've never done a whole year's worth of collaging in a book, and my book is really chunky now, and I'm going to have to think of a way to rebind this book, because if I close it up, it is hugely alligator mouthed. Where's the front cover? There we go. So as you can see, it is hugely alligator mouth now. It really is. So I think I will be taking that off, and I'm going to think of a way of rebinding this. But I will be doing a flip through, as I promised, of all the assignments soon. But I have this one to finish. So before I jump in and make a start, I'd like to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you that has watched, supported and encouraged me throughout this challenge. Oh, bless each and every one of you. It has really been a journey and a half, hasn't it? But I've enjoyed every single assignment that I've done, and I've welcomed each one of your comments. I've enjoyed reading them and learning from them, so thank you so much for that. But I do need to offer a massive thank you to my lovely friend Jeff. Hi Jeff, who's in Las Vegas, because without his nudge, and I often refer to it in the description box as a gentle nudge, without his nudge, I would not have even started on this. I've watched it for a couple of years, but not dipped my foot in. And this time last year, Jeff sent me this actual planner as a present, and that was enough to inspire me to get going and playing along with Jeff and with all of you. And Jeff and I email regularly. He shows me what his assignments look like, and trust me, they are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Jeff is very talented, but he doesn't have a YouTube channel. He doesn't have an Instagram channel, so he doesn't share. So I feel very privileged that I get to see what lovely assignments he creates. Thank you so much, Jeff. I do feel very honoured about that. So, depending on your take, this might be good news or bad news, but I will be playing along next year. Margarete Miller is doing another year of assignments in 2023, and I will definitely be playing along with that. So let's get started on the very last one. Now, I was hoping that I would have an idea all in place for this one. I haven't, unfortunately. I do have some elements that I've lifted out, and I do have a rough idea, but we'll see where it takes us. Now, I'm going to be working really on a craft type theme for this last page. So let's get started. The first prompt is a definition. Well, I've got here a dictionary page, and the definition that I'm taking off this page is create or creativity, and it's a little small box up there. So I'm going to be using that as my definition. For the next prompt, a postage stamp, I've got a tub here, as you can see, of all sorts of postage stamps, so I don't know which one I'm going to snaffle out of here, but I'm certainly going to take one. And as you can see at the back there, I've got a few that are first day covers that are Christmas themed, so they may well come into play. But I do have one or two other used ones in here that are also Christmas themed, and I'm leaning in that direction. Something you are thankful for. Well, I've gone for another definition because something that I am hugely thankful for is the inspiration that everyone shares with me and in amongst our YouTube community. And that inspiration, watching other artists at work, really has inspired me with what I do, and I so enjoy it. It gives me hours and hours of pleasure. I can't gush about it enough. So really, to keep this by way of a crafty theme, something that I'm thankful for will be the definition of inspiration, and it's on this page somewhere when I can find it. Inspiration, there we go, it's down in there. So I've gone with another definition there. Next prompt is a pair of something. Well, I did have an idea of a couple of pairs of doves with, I was going to put some red thread in their mouths and have it dangling down my page as a pop of colour, because I was imagining a very monochrome theme, and that red was going to be my pop of colour. But I couldn't quite find the images that I wanted, but I did find this image, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a picture of a robin and a red cardinal on a berry branch with fir cones, and I thought, with this being still the seasonal time of year, that would be my pop of colour. As you can see, I've got two images here. I've resized them, both of them. I'm not sure which one is going to work better on my page until I get going, so I certainly will be using one of these, and my plan is to fussy cut. So I'm kind of hoping that the bigger one is going to work, but we'll see. A piece of a colouring book. Well, I have very kindly been lent this Enchanted Forest colouring book. It's not mine. It belongs to somebody that is very near and dear to me, who likes colouring, and this book is absolutely amazing. It truly is. There's some gorgeous images in here that I, for one, would love to get in and colour, but I think I kind of have enough on my plate with all the other crafting bits and bobs I do without going off at a tangent and starting to colour. And as you can see, this book has hardly been touched. A little bit there, and I think there's some more a little bit. Oh, here we go. At the start. So the prompt was a piece of colouring book page. Well, I've taken this page out of the book. As you can see, I've ripped it out, and the reason being is I like this portion here because it's got holly leaves on it and berries, and again, I think that will tie in with my theme here. I'm not going to colour this. I'm just going to leave it as is. Ideally, I would have liked this to be a lighter background, but it's not, so I can live with that. Now, I might cheat and not use this, but go with something from the colouring book. Let me leave that to one side, because I love this part of the colouring book. Now, this bit is the inside flyleaf, or the cover. If I put that like that, you can see that's how it went. And if I open up the back, oh, there we go, that's the back flyleaf, and I've just nicked this portion out of the front. Now, I love this, and that ties in with the monochrome theme that I kind of had for this page. So I'm not sure which one of these I will use. This one, I think, is challenging the prompt a little bit by using it, but I think this is the one that is going to give me the look that I really wanted to try and create today. But we'll see. I won't know until I actually get these on my page and in play. So I've got those. And finally, the bonus is a photograph. Well, going on the crafting theme, I have a bit of a love for scissors, retro style, vintage style scissors. These are only reproduction vintage scissors, but they are one of my embroidery sets of scissors, and I absolutely love these. Well, I love them all, really. So going on the crafting theme, what I did today was I took a photograph of my scissors on the work surface in the kitchen, and I thought that I would use that. Now, you can see with this background why I was thinking of the monochrome theme, because I was thinking of all these lovely page tones in here, the gunmetal look of the scissors and then a flash of colour. So that's why I'm thinking maybe that this one will work. I don't know. So let's get started and see where it takes us. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip out my definitions, and I'm going to use a ruler for doing that, and I'm going to fussy cut both of these images and see which one then fits my page better. But just look at this on there. You see now why I wanted to choose that piece of paper. And whilst technically it's not a page out of the inside of the colouring book, it's part of the cover. The whole cover is designed on the inside and on the flyleaf to be coloured, so that's why I was kind of thinking it might work. And if I put that against that, equally, you see that portion there might work. So I'm not sure yet about those, so I'm just going to feel my way at first to see where this takes me, and come back to those decisions in a moment or two. So I'm going to come back to you when I fussy cut these and I've ripped out those. So my two images are cut out, and quite pleased with how they've cut out. I thought the fur pieces were going to be really difficult, but actually didn't prove that in the end. And I've got these two little definitions there ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these slightly to one side and bring in these two backgrounds. Now, I wasn't planning to use the whole of this, and I have to say I'm not liking it against the grey, so I would have to, or I would prefer to cover the whole of that grey up. And if I bring in my picture, I was thinking I would probably only use that portion there to pick up the holly leaves. But then I'm going to get that sort of transition onto the grey if I rip the rest of this away. And whilst I have got a partial match to these, that isn't working for me. So I'm going to have a look at the black one, this one. And this was the one I actually did like. I'm not liking that little bird there, but I love how stark that is, how crisp. Now I could take this right up to the border here, or I could try and bring it in by about 5mm all the way around and pick up the grey. And the reason I'm thinking about doing that is because if I move that up, these scissors look steely grey. They're kind of a gunmetal colour, and the background is definitely grey. So I'm kind of thinking I like that idea. I'm thinking that I will have this over there and try and cover up that bird. And I was perhaps thinking about maybe bringing in this one up here, so I could probably have that there like that, maybe pull it over a little bit more like that. I've got my two birds here, and I want to cover up that portion there, so I think this is going to be lost really. That kind of works. I could angle it like that, and then that's leaving me with quite a gap down here. Okay, I'm thinking that one might be too small, and I could actually use that one, which is going to cover up that gap, cover up that detail there quite nicely, especially if I kind of angle it down. and slightly across. I could pull this down as well so that there isn't so much of that there, and actually pick up that detail up there. So that's sort of working quite nicely for me. And then I probably would bring that branch there away from the scissors if I can do it. Maybe something like that would work better, because my page is going to end roughly here, so it eliminates that gap there. I could bring that, I can even tuck that behind if I wanted to, but I think I like it on top. It's a shame that it's partially obscuring the scissors. Let me have a look at it again underneath. Could do something like that. My page sort of ends there, so the only gap I've got here, or the bare area, is there because that detail is going up across there. And then perhaps have this down in this corner here. Okay, I'm liking this, and I think I can play with this a little bit more to get it to look how I want it to look. So I'm going to take these pieces away. I'm going to work with that bigger piece, and I'm going to trim this down so that it actually fits completely to the border, and then I'll worry about whether or not I have a grey edge round here later on. So first things first, I'm going to cut this to size. So I've got my background trimmed in place, and it's not glued down, it's just resting there. And I've laid out the other pieces roughly in the position where I think I like them to be. I've got the inspiration down at the bottom here because the colour of that paper is softer tones, which I think will work well with the softer tones here. And also, if I put this little branch over the top, I can just highlight the word inspiration, so I'm quite liking that as it is. If I pull it in, as I originally thought I would, by about 5mm, I am picking up a hint of what's underneath. So I think that's actually going to be distracting, because I'm picking up the top end of be sure and the lines of text underneath. So I am going to stick with this cut to the size of the frame. I've lifted out some other stamps. I was going to use my first day cover, but actually I found a few more Christmas stamps amongst my stash, and I'm going to use these. I have this word create up at the top here, and I came across this vintage grey stamp. Now I really like this, and I have been playing with it on my piece here, and I love it, absolutely love it down at the bottom there, I really do. Let me just move that across again and hold that down like so, and I really like it down there. But I'm feeling that that up there is just lost, and I'm not quite sure how else to get it in unless I do something like that. That's a possibility. Or if I take it and I put it in down this side and make it almost like a little tab, and that is working for me. So that was one possibility. The other one was if I take that off there and use this one. I've auditioned all of these. The red ones aren't any good because they pull away from this piece here, so I would need to have it sort of up in that corner to try and balance it out. Over there makes it too left hand heavy. Over there doesn't really work, because I'm actually just liking this. So I'm thinking that if I, ooh, it's all moved. If I have that like that, then I can almost have this so that it becomes in and amongst this vegetation rather than something that's peripheral to it. So I was working on that idea like that, and having this tucked under there. That's moved now, hasn't it? That needs to come down, and that needs to go there, and have something like that. going on. Like that, I think. So I was thinking about having this sort of like a tab at the side, like that. And then I was looking at this one. Where's the grey stamp? So I was looking at that one as well, potentially having that one on there and dispensing with the red ones. I did like this one, but I think it's too busy compared with this and all this going on. So I think I need to keep it just really calm and simple. So I was wondering something like this, and just having it like that. So that was one option, but I'm not sure about that. I think what's bothering me is this play going on here. The other thing I did think about was having something like this, having that across there like that, and having this one sort of there like that, kind of, and that wasn't really working for me. So I think I'm going to need to have a play with this. I think that's what's giving me the issue. It's too busy there. I could have my birds down there, and then I could have my definition down there. So I have an idea of where I'm going with this one now. I have been playing with it for a little while. I think I set myself too much of a challenge, or even maybe the planet is teaching me a lesson for thinking that by the time I've done a year's worth of collages, I know what I'm doing. But I have to say, I think I roughly have an idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this piece in place, the branch, because everything else seems to lead off from that. So I'm going to try and get that glued into place. And I need to try and remember how I had it. And I think it was something like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue behind on my photograph and on my branch here. And what I was trying to do was get this piece of foliage up here touching that part of the definition. So that part of the photograph which I didn't like, I've now got covered. I've got this bird here which I didn't like, so I was thinking that I could have my stamp. If I position this piece right on here, then I could have my stamp like so, and it would just cover up the bird. It is going to mean that my foliage is touching that side, but I think I'm okay with that. And then I've got my other quote here, so it's a question of whether I glue that down now just to hold that in place. I was thinking with this one I could either have it tucked that way and just have it level with the bird's tail down there. That's giving me too much of a straight edge really down here when I've got all this busyness going on over there. So I'm wondering whether to try turning that and just lifting it out, bringing it right out. Actually, I am liking that better. That feels a little bit more balanced to me than the other way. No, that's not working. I think that looks better to me. It's not a good one this week, but never mind. So I'm just going to hold that in place like that. Try and lift up a little bit and put some glue behind. Didn't quite manage the masterpiece I wanted to create for my very last one of this year, but it gives me a reason for going on next year, because I obviously need more practice at these collages. And these are assignment challenges, doesn't it? But it's certainly fun to pit your brain against them. And yeah, I'm going to go with something like that. Do you know, everybody, I think I'm just going to add that other piece of foliage in there. I do feel like I need something to balance up this corner, but I think if I put that in there, it is almost like it is meant to be really full on in terms of foliage and detail down this side, and designed to be like that rather than a bit of an accident. So I'm going to do that with it. I'm going to add that piece of foliage in there. There's a branch here, or a bit of a stem here, so I'm just going to snip that off. And I'm just going to, obviously I've got my two birds, and I'm just going to hide those underneath like so, and just try and angle this so that I've got as much foliage as I can get. And I'm getting a hint of the red from the cardinal's tummy there, but I don't mind that. That's almost looking like it's supposed to be there. And yep, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with that. Maybe a little bit more up in this corner. Go ahead and glue it in place. I think I'm going to have it like that. And I might be over egging it, but I almost want to bring in that now. Yeah, definitely need something down in that corner. I'm wondering if I can bend that like that. And yeah, I'm liking that. I think I'm going to do that to soften that edge down there. And now I'm going to just glue all of this in place. Okay, I think that's where I wanted it. Fingers crossed. So there we go, everybody. That's my finished piece and my last assignment of 2022. And I definitely need more practice, so I will definitely see you in 2023 if you can bear to watch me figure out these assignments again. So until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your festive holidays. Take care, and thank you so much for watching. And just very quickly to go through the prompts: a definition, well, I've got a choice of two there. A postage stamp, I've got a choice of two. Something that you're thankful for, well, it's all your inspiration, everybody. A pair of something, well, I've got two pieces of foliage here, but certainly my two birds. A piece of a colouring book, that's my background here, and a photograph, that's my favourite pair of scissors. So as I say, everybody, thanks so much, take good care of yourselves, and Happy New Year. See you in 2023. Bye bye now.